Ramblers, it's Poor Man Mountain here to take you through your pre-match face-off with Preston North End, a big war of the roses. Lancashire and Yorkshire clashing arms again here at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. So how did Preston arrive into this fixture? Well, they've stolen one of our old managers in Paul Heckingbottom. I'm sure we're looking forward to his Blades welcoming back to the lane following his spell with us, and I hope people look fondly upon what he did for us, obviously taking over from being in the under-23s and guiding us to promotion, which some of us think he should have got, but I still think obviously he did a good job for us, and we wish him the best down the road at Preston. They've really settled into some solid form since he arrived. I say solid because they don't give too much away, they don't score too many, and they're keeping it nice and tight. They currently find themselves in 15th position in the league and have accrued 43 points so far this season. They're in that position where we've said if we want fixtures against teams in this division, we want fixtures against teams that have not that much to play for, and I think that's exactly where Preston North End are at this point. They are 9 points off the playoffs, so West Brom are, I would say, probably out of reach for them in 6th position at this moment in time, and they are a cool 12 off relegation, where Luton Town are currently sat in their disaster of a season that they're currently having. So they're a little bit in no man's land. They're not really in any danger, and it remains to be seen how psychologically Heckie's going to keep them coming all the way to the end of the season without them thinking about the beach and thinking about, yes, we're safe. No, we've nothing much to play for now, but a bit of professional pride. So, yeah, I remember the very first game, and it was the very first game of the season. We went over to Deepdale for our opening fixture, sat there on -2 points. Who knew what a season we would be having? Certainly not the bookies who had us out at 15 and 16 to 1 to win the title. Back at that point, I don't think they'd be offering them sort of odds now. But it was a good start for United. We got straight into the pluses from our -2 with a 2-0 victory over them, and that was all the way back on the 9th of August. Scorers on the day for us: Ollie Blaster, our captain by that point as well, early on in the first half, and then Gustavo Hamer in the second half. And we're getting used to that sort of action from Gustavo, our main man. I'm expecting him to step it up after the last game, where he had, some would say, a poor performance, certainly by his standards, and we'll be expecting him to up his game. Preston's recent results look like this. So they've had a 0-0 draw at home to Swansea. They had a really, really morale-boosting victory over a second-string Burnley side in the FA Cup, which was 3-0 and puts them in the quarter-final. So something for their fans to look forward to in the next game. They lost 2-1 away at Cov. They've drawn at home to Millwall, 1-1. Drew at home to Burnley. So they've obviously done well there. And they've lost away at Norwich back on the 11th of February. So a bit of a mixed bag, 3 draws, 1 win and 1 defeat in their last 5 in the league, plus that FA Cup win as well over their nearest and dearest rivals, Burnley. I'm sure the fans are happy with that one, and we can cheer them on for that, although we might have wanted Burnley to carry on in that cup run. More games for them, the better as far as we're concerned. So what does their away form look like? Well, it's been a tricky season on the road, played 17, won only 3 of those 17, drawn 6 and lost 8. Overall, that's 9 wins in the season, so double the amount of wins at home, so 6 wins at home, 3 away. They've drawn 16 of their matches this season, and they've lost 10. So this idea that they're really, really tight, what United will be hoping for is obviously an early goal to get the deadlock broken, force them to come out a little bit. What we don't want is them sat in big banks of 3 and 4 and 5s, trying to break them down all day. I'm sure we could, but I really, really would like us to break that deadlock nice and early and get going, basically. So what threats have they got? They've got a guy called Zmajic up front. He scored 7 goals, 3 assists in 26 games. So he's got 10 goal involvements in 26 games. They've also got Jakobsen, who comes off the bench. He's got 9 goals and 2 assists in 34 games this season. So they do have goal threat at the top of the pitch. They are quite a solid team, especially under Heckie. He'll be looking to try and keep it as tight as he possibly can and try and nick something on the break. But United, I think we need to come out and start well. I think we've been doing that quite a lot recently. Start on the front foot and up the tempo. I believe that with that sort of tempo, we should be able to break that deadlock in the first half and get the goals that we need to win this game. So Hecky likes to keep his tactics the same, similar to what they were at Sheffield United. So it's a 3-5-2 formation that he likes to deploy. He likes to keep it tight in the middle there. Kessler Hayden, he's played every game this season. Liam Lindsay and Lewis Gibson, they played in the last game and are predicted to play in this one as well. Ken Kessler Hayden, again, has been a solid player for them this season. What we'll be hoping is, as United fans, is that 3 will become a 5, particularly if we're putting them under pressure. Brad Potts and Robbie Brady, who we know a bit about on the left-hand side. We know he's got good delivery, and what we don't want to do is give them an excuse to score by giving away any silly free kicks. I've always thought Robbie Brady at this level has been a good technician. He can deliver a good quality ball, and what we don't want is any ammunition for Osmaic, their main threat up top, to get a win there. I'm hopeful that Campbell, with his pace, will create space for everybody else behind him. So Sheffield United, how do we match up? Well, Campbell, with his pace, I believe, will drag them back, and they will be sat with quite a deep block to try and stop him from getting in behind. That should open up the spaces for Brereton Diaz to make those runs into the box, probably from the right-hand side in this game, I would imagine. Hamer again starting on the left-hand side. I think even though he was quite poor in the last game, we've got to say he's the best player, and Hamer needs to start for us every single time. Callum O'Hare, who I expect to start in the 10, buzzing around, keeping him busy, not giving him a moment's peace, should be able to find those spaces with Campbell dragging them back towards their own goal. The goalkeeper is Freddie Woodman. I know he's been around a long time, Freddie Woodman. He's been number 2 in a lot of places. He's in there at the moment. I think the view is that he's got mistakes in him. We've seen mistakes from him this season, and I believe if we can get on top of him and really put him under pressure, he's got a mistake in him. With the finishing power that we've got in Campbell, Hamer and Diaz, the one thing I'd say to the players is make sure you hit the target. Get him making saves. Make sure we don't waste any good opportunities, because if they get to half time and it's still 0-0, it'll become more and more difficult for the Blades to break these guys down. They are draw specialists. Again, 16 draws this season, going to be making it really, really difficult. I think the belief is that they'll come and play on the counter, and it'll be up to Sheffield United to try and break them down. It doesn't necessarily suit us. We don't always enjoy loads and loads of possession, but when we do get it, the one thing I do like about our team is that we create and we use that possession a lot better than some other teams who we've played this season, who tend to keep moving the ball around all day without any end product. If they do camp out, I'd expect Brereton Diaz to push right on and give them that problem. My team today would include Harrison Burrows, and I'd love to see Femi Siriki start this game, simply because I think, again, with that width and pace that he offers us down one side and Burrows' quality delivery from the left-hand side, I think that will create quite a lot of chances for us, and he'll give him all sorts of problems, because they'll realise very quickly that any foot race going on, they're definitely coming second. I believe that that's how the pattern of the game should play out. They do have threat, like I said, in Osmaic. He's one that could get wound up, I'd expect, and I'd like to see Sidney Peck keep his head in this situation, and Jack Robinson and Vinny, who are prone to a little bit of rashness at times, just to keep their heads with him and make sure that he doesn't wind them up, anything like that, because what we certainly don't need is to go down to 10 men in this game, and if we can get him wound up as well, it might favour our chances. United really have got to find a way, and I think they've got to find a way in that first 30 minutes, because if they don't, I believe these lot will sit in. They'll be playing for a draw on Saturday. So I just believe that we've got to make sure we don't give any daft free kicks away. I don't want Robbie Brady stood over a ball there. They've got Will Keane as well, who we know about, who we certainly don't want him to score in this game for obvious reasons. So yeah, we don't know about their midfield as well. There's rumours that Ali McCann, their captain and stalwart in the centre of the park, may be injured for this game. Ryan Porteous may come in. We don't know how they're thinking about their team, but what we do know is our starting 11. Okay, and I think this now picks itself with Cooper, Siriki, Hodzic, Robbo certainly is keeping his place after the last game. Harrison Burrows, I think Sidney Peck and Vinny in the centre need to start. Diaz on the right hand side, O'Hare in the 10, Hamer on the left, and then Campbell, the danger man, up top. So the three Marley Blades have had their say on this one. I don't know what you guys think about the result on Saturday. I believe if we get an early one, it could be more comfortable than what I've predicted, but I'm a little wary of Preston. I think Heckingbottom will want to come back and show us a little bit of what we are missing. I think he might feel he got a little bit of a raw deal. He had let's face it, a pretty difficult / impossible job when he left us, and I don't know what anyone else would have done in his scenario. Certainly the Blades should be winning this game. It's a game that, if we're going to be going for automatic promotion, 3 wins for them away all season, this is a game that's definitely a home win. Jimmy, he went for a 2-0 victory for the Blades on this one. Dave the Nose, he really knows. He went for 1-0 in a tight affair. Gosh, I hope not. I went for 2-1. Just because they might just have a set-piece goal on them. I'm just a little wary of our set-piece defending at this point in time, and I'm hopeful that can be remedied. Something hopefully they've been working on in training and working together to do that. With Super Michael Cooper in goal, I am always confident of a clean sheet, but I did go for 2-1, so I'm going to have to stick with that for this particular game. Blades fans, let us know in the comments what you think about this game, whether you think it's going to be a war of attrition, maybe a scrappy 1-0 victory. Personally, I think it will be quite close and tight, because I think they'll pack out the defence, but I still see the Blades being too powerful and too strong for this team, especially with us moving into form. And some of those players that are now on the bench, that really strong bench that we're looking at with all those options that we can bring on to open up the defence, Raksaki being a good example of that, off the bench for us. Tom Cannon, I'm desperate for him to get his first goal so he can start contributing and start getting that little monkey off his back really without not having scored yet for us. So yeah, I'm hopeful that can happen for him sooner rather than later. But all these players are coming into match fitness now. We've sort of been building people up with 60-70 minutes in the legs in recent games. I'd love to see us get 80 or 90 into some of those key players, because this little stretch at the end, the back home straight as it were, if we were in a race right now, we're right on the shoulder, exactly where you want to be, without that pressure of being on top. So let's go Ramblers, up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe.
Let's go! Let's go! This is the view.